Welcome to Shamanism, Metaphysics, and Grace. I'm Lauren Hubele, here interviewing astrologer Jyoti Wind. Jyoti, welcome.
Thank you, Lauren. Good to be here.
It is good, Jyoti, and we're all eyes are on you today. Well, I'm looking to hear a little bit about what's going on and what to expect with Pluto's big move.
Yes, it's the talk of the internet. I've come across a lot of people giving their views and ideas on Pluto's entrance into Aquarius for a 9 month span. Let's just say that this next entrance into Aquarius is 9 months till I think it's September 2nd and or September 1st. And I want to give the chronology of the day of that day, the 20th, which is in 2 days from when we're filming, on Saturday, January 20th. So the sun is conjunct Pluto at 6:46 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. These are all going to be Mountain Standard Times. So the sun conjuncts Pluto just before the sun moves into Aquarius itself at 7:07 a.m. Pluto at the end of the day enters Aquarius because it moves slower than the sun at 5:50 p.m. And so there's this like connection between the sun and Pluto, which is a lot. Sun and Pluto day is like a Scorpio day. It's a day of intensity anyway. And then with Pluto later that day moving into Aquarius, and we had that initial foray last spring, March to June. And we can look back on maybe some of the things that happened in our lives at that time that were kind of like a herald for what's going to occur again. It's not always the same, but there's threads. So there might be a thread of something that occurred last March to June that all of a sudden is up again. It might be a thread of, let's say, self forgiveness or self love, and all of a sudden we see that same thread. The circumstances might be totally different, but there's that same thread weaving itself through the next several months. So that's an idea. And so Pluto will not be back here um, moving into Aquarius for another 248 years, well beyond all of our lifespan. Okay. So because Pluto's cycle is 248 years roughly. And it's interesting when you look back at Pluto's entrance into Aquarius all those 248 years ago, those cycles. And I just want to give a mention to Chris Brennan and Nick Dagan Best. I think that's his name. They have a YouTube video called Pluto Entering Aquarius, and it's a 4 hour talk between the two of them. You can break it up if you need to, but anybody who's seriously wondering the many different aspects that can occur of Pluto's entrance into Aquarius, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing some of the things that occurred during those Pluto moving into Aquarius. I mean, it was scientific strides. It was the French Revolution. It was the invention of gunpowder and silk.
Hmm.
And how it wasn't just a fabric, it came from silkworms. That nobody knew that in the beginning. The cotton gin, game changers for those times. And I look at now with Pluto moving into Aquarius and how it's definitely a huge piece of the whole AI, artificial intelligence potential with robots, drones, and 3D prosthetics. It's very interesting to me to think about that and the innovations in the health industry, and of course, policing and war and politics and stuff. They'll all get their fair share. of this energy. But yeah, it's very interesting to me to even begin to think about what Pluto in Aquarius um, will transform.
Yeah, and Jyoti, just for our listeners to like understand the magnitude of this has never happened in anyone's lifetime that's living today,
No,
and it will never happen again in anyone's lifetime.
no,
And
no,
is there any other aspect that would be that extreme?
no,
Yeah.
no. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And that's why, at the beginning of the pandemic, with Saturn conjuncting Pluto and then Jupiter conjuncting Pluto, I mean, it was really pushing the envelope of our evolution. I mean, it seemed fairly innocuous, although the pandemic obviously was not innocuous. It was very attention getting, for lack of a better term, where it just kind of had us all by the throat, so to speak, in how the world reacted to what was happening, and mandates and all that kind of thing, and control issues and top down kind of thing. And now here Pluto moves into Aquarius, and it's about um, how it's about the people. The French Revolution, if you look at the French Revolution, it was like they were tired of eating just potatoes while the elite were eating cake. And so all of a sudden there was an overthrow. And so people revolted, and Aquarius is known for its revolution. It's known for its radical behavior. And Aquarius is the people. It's not the government. It's not the top down. It's not the elites. Aquarius is the people in any situation. And so Pluto moving into Aquarius is a huge wake up for a lot more people than maybe were awake beforehand, because all of a sudden they're not exactly happy with the way things are going.
Jyoti, are there particular parts of the world that might be more impacted by this?
Well, the Aquarian, the U.S. chart has an Aquarian moon, and we just had a Pluto return of 248 years, um, for the Constitution. And with that Aquarian moon, yes, people with Aquarius in their chart, whether it's their sun, moon, rising, or whatever, they probably feel this unsettledness, like the earthquakes, that are happening here and there. They probably feel like, something's coming. I don't know what it is, but something's coming. And for people born at the end of the sign, they're looking at 15 years, 18 years down the road. But people born at the beginning of the sign are having early degrees Aquarius rising or Aquarius moon, or something else relevant in Aquarius. They're sensing something, because Pluto is like the 500-pound gorilla in the room, and you could smell the peanuts on its breath, or whatever. Maybe that's a 500-pound elephant, but anyway, it's hard to miss. If you're sitting there with a gorilla on the couch with you, I mean, it's hard to ignore, to use an analogy. But anyway, so people are feeling something. They might not be able to pin it down, but also alongside of all of that, there is this striding forward, scientifically, metaphysically, spiritually. Um, uh, People looking at how to take their power, because Pluto talks about how you own your own power instead of power over or abdication. It's about how do you own your own power and then help everyone step into theirs.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
it, it,
Okay.
it's hard. it's hard to come up with the languaging for this because we have access to the facts of how it's looked before, but nobody's been on the ground with it. Nobody sat at the table with it that's alive now. We could do a shamanic journey perhaps and go talk to the spirit of Pluto. That might be something. Or we could, sit in a psychic meditation and divine some things that might be helpful. But we're on the edge of an evolutionary shift. That's the bottom line. And it's going to do its job, whether we like it or not. We don't have to like it.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And,
Jyoti,
uh,
I'm just thinking about how folks, when they are feeling this, do you think it's affecting them on the nervous system level? It's
yeah,
affecting them in their sleep. What
absolutely.
imagine? Yeah,
Yes, and people who have chemical imbalances, um, for one through one reason or another, they may feel that even more sensitively than anybody. anybody else, Also, I want to mention that this day, January 20th, Mercury catches up from its last retrograde cycle from the 13th of December. And I just saw that last night and I thought, oh, that's very interesting because Mercury isn't huge in the scheme of things, but the retrogrades catch our attention for 3 weeks at a time, 3 times a year. And so you can't say, oh, Mercury's finishing up one thing as Pluto's beginning another. I mean, it's like, apples and oranges or kiwis and watermelons. You know what I mean? Kiwi being the Mercury. So it's ending a cycle and catching up. But at least we are out of that Mercury cycle and not feeling like we're still redoing some things while Pluto is making its grand entrance into this new sign again after last March now. And then Pluto will retrograde back into Capricorn for like 6 weeks, like the 3rd of September to I think it's the 19th of November. And then Pluto goes back into Aquarius that 3rd week of November and stays for 20 years.
wow.
So we're getting tastes of something. We're being prepared. In a way, it's almost like, I mean, not really, but it's almost like a kindness of the universe to give us this, a little taste here, a little taste there, and then whoosh, we're in.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe paying attention to what's coming up as of Saturday.
Yeah, well, even now, I mean, we're only 2 days away. We're all in it. We've
Yeah,
been in it
yeah.
for at least the past month, several weeks. I mean, Pluto moves so slowly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That and it's so powerful. You feel and you're in its energy field a ways before it even, sets up an aspect. So, um, I think that the more we can embrace the Pluto into Aquarius as an opportunity for evolution, an opportunity for growth and change, and be willing. It's so hard for humans to let go of things, old patterns of behavior, and all of that. It's very difficult, it seems, for humans. But for those who can embrace it instead of seeing it as something that's pushing you and taking over you, but seeing it as an open door of opportunity that is beckoning you of your own free will to step through and see what you can change.
Yeah, yeah. So it's an invitation.
It is an invitation. It's just a little heavy handed. It's a little heavy-handed invitation. But think about the babies that are being born now with Pluto in Aquarius. They are totally wired in their nervous system, in their brain. They are totally wired for this new time coming when they will mature. I mean, maybe not mature is the right word, but when they come of age,
Sure,
you
sure.
know. And so we are being gifted an opportunity to learn the energy that they will be bringing to the world, that they are bringing to the world. And it's kind of like we're kind of being given the opportunity to get tastes and evolve to see what they will be living. We're getting glimpses of some things, but these are things that they will be ushering in all through their childhood, and then coming of age. That's what the world will look like at that point in time.
Yeah. Yeah, and they won't know anything other than Pluto in Aquarius.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. We're the ones that are playing catch up here.
Mhm.
We're the ones that are kind of like stepping onto their coattails energetically to up level our own system, upgrade our system so that we can see and maybe even be part of this evolutionary next step before we're out of here.
Mhm. Cool. Wow, Jyoti, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a definite time. And one other thought I had was that people talk about, I mean, I've read the prophecies of Nostradamus and Edgar Casey and Ruth Montgomery and all those guys for years, that, we're on the cusp of the Aquarian age. And since an age is 2,160 years long, a cusp is about 2 to 300 years, as we leave the age of Pisces and get ready to move into the Aquarian age. And people are saying, oh, Pluto moved into Aquarius, this is the golden age of Aquarius. And it's like, no, no, look around, this is not a golden age. However, because Pluto's cycle is 248 years, the next time Pluto goes into Aquarius, we may well be just starting the Aquarian age, and then Pluto can be that heralder, that usherer into that golden age.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
we'll check in on the other side of this.
Yes. Yes. Meaning like in a week or so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Not 20 years.
No,
Yes.
no, 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 no. Let's not wait
No.
that long. Let's check in next week and see how we all fared.
Yes, and one other thing, I want to give a plug to Dwarf Planet University.
Mhm.
Pam Gregory talked about the dwarf planets, and I knew they were there, but I never really stepped in to study them after I did the basic astrology and then brought in the asteroids about 20 years after that. But I'm interested in the dwarf planets in the Kuiper Belt between, I think it's between Neptune and Pluto. It could be between Uranus and Neptune. I need to check that. But it's new aspects of consciousness. And that's exactly what Pluto going into Aquarius is also about, new aspects of consciousness. So I'm going to look into those more.
Nice. Wonderful,
Yeah.
Jyoti. Lovely to be with you. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom as always.
Oh, you're welcome, Lauren. Thank you.